Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Talk Shop interview series where I bring on industry professionals, having them share their insight with you, the high school and college student, specifically as it relates to how you can better communicate in the workplace, whether you're going to get a job, networking for a job, etc. For anyone that would like to learn more about me, the website will be on the screen shortly. But without further ado, I want to bring on Jordyn Gosney. And Jordyn, would you, first of all, thanks for taking the time. And second of all, I always ask my guests to introduce themselves in terms of your title and who it is that you work with.
Hi, I'm Jordyn. I'm the Golden One Center Group Sales Manager. So I handle Kings groups, so group tickets, 10 or more, and also the arena show side of the business. So Disney on Ice, PBR, Monster Jam, and any of the concerts if they need help with selling their tickets.
Gotcha. And I haven't been to the new arena. It's actually probably not so new anymore. It's been open for how many years now? Just a couple, right?
Yep. It's been open the second year I got here, so 2016. Yeah.
Got it. And I know everyone that is interested in sports or any event for that matter is, obviously on hold to get to the beautiful new arenas that are part of the NBA, your center being one of them. Is there somewhere in your background, could have been maybe when you were in college or out of college, that you yourself realized, you know what, the ability to communicate to a wide variety of people, which is really what you're doing now, is important? Was there some, flashpoint moment where it came to you, or is it something that just kind of gradually came on your radar?
Yeah, so in college, I can remember taking a break from my sports marketing class. It was canceled. I was sitting in the library watching a LinkedIn webinar with Lewis Howes, and he just it all came together for me. And I was like, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to reach out to all these industry professionals and just shoot my shot and hope I can connect with some people. And it ended up turning into coffee conversations, lunch conversations, and then I just had a network of so many people that I could rely on. So it was pretty cool.
Nice. It's kind of funny to hear that name. Lewis and I connected years ago, back when he was doing Sports Networker. I don't know if you recall that. But anyway, this is now taking you and I having a personal conversation with others that are now watching. But it was a kind of a unique platform at that time. He's obviously gone on and done a lot of other things. But
so many great things. Yeah.
Is there anything that you can recall? The first question, obviously, which I've already asked you, was, was there a moment where you realized it's important to have some skills to communicate effectively to a wide variety of people? What about when you were first interviewing? Could have been for a volunteer job, could have been for a internship or a real job, where you not only had to go in and articulate who you are and with some positive impact, but maybe you did it in a way that was creative, that helped separate you from maybe the other candidates that were in the job, and maybe you got some feedback about it afterwards. Anything jump out when it comes to that?
Yeah, I think being prepared and having that network to rely on helped during my interviews, so that I could lean back and say, oh, hey, I also know so-and-so, they said to say hi. And then that would spark questions of, oh, how do you know this person, this person, this person? So that kind of leaned into how I can reach out to people creatively and build up relationships and really just, hone in on hard work and networking skills. And that, I think, looking back, really leaned into sales and where I'm at now, because that's all sales is, right? It's building relationships, maintaining those relationships, and really just, creating a network.
Well, absolutely. I'm just going to nod and agree with all of that. I wanted to see if you could give a different take on the question that I'm about to ask, and that is more geared for today's college students. Look, their landscape as it relates to getting a job has changed, just like anyone that's out looking for a job, but more so for the emerging adults, the college students. But I wanted to see, maybe you can answer it pre-COVID or even now. I'll let you decide. But everyone in that age range, if you will, or that place in their career on the early side of it, is looking to kind of differentiate themselves in some particular way that kind of rises up and gets above the fray. What have you seen in terms of how people have approached you whether it's over LinkedIn, just to say, hey, Jordyn, would you be open to a conversation, or sending you a letter, whatever the case might be, but trying to get on your radar. How do you see college students are branding themselves with good impact? And maybe you also want to answer, how are they doing that just isn't working through your eyes?
Yeah. So I think just being persistent and being proactive is the best way you can go about it. Actually having an agenda of what you want to get accomplished. So coming to the table with that, because a lot of industry professionals, they don't have a lot of time normally, like now we do, but
right.
Just being prepared and coming in with, okay, how does your day-to-day go? Can I ask you a few questions? Can I shadow you? Can I ask you to coffee? Can I ask you to lunch? Just really being intrigued and engaged, instead of, oh, can I get a job? Oh, can you push my resume to the hiring manager? I think the people that have reached out to me and tried to ask questions are the more people that I'm willing to help, because I'm willing to put in the effort if you are willing to put in the effort.
And look, the reality is, you're with an NBA franchise. There's not many NBA franchises in the world. So I can only assume that you probably get a lot of those types of messages over the course of a 12-month period. Which ones capture your attention? Meaning, when I say which ones, maybe someone's reaching out to you via email, via LinkedIn. I hope maybe some of them even do a US letter. That's kind of refreshing. What is it that captures Jordyn's attention as it relates to just someone wanting to get that initial conversation? Because you mentioned persistence. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. But what captures your attention just in the way they are introducing themselves to you that makes you want to speak with them or meet with them?
If you have a good, on an email, if you have a good headline, you have to make it interesting. Don't just make it, reaching out or blah, blah, blah. If you're reaching out on LinkedIn, if you have a message tied to your connection request, then I will reach back out to you. And if you make it unique, that's the best way that I can put it. And, second, if you call me on the phone, if you're constantly coming up with different questions, if I actually have to stop and think about it, that's going to stick in my head and I will remember you.
You make an interesting point. It's such a subtle yet easy to fix solution when people are connecting just over LinkedIn alone. It obviously just defaults to, I'd like to connect with you, or whatever that default message is that LinkedIn has. I always say, look, just delete that and put a quick sentence in there. It's not that hard, and it makes a big difference. I know for me that will capture my attention, but this interview is not about me. It's about you. So, and I know that you've actually delivered some guest lectures about this very topic, in a way about how students can brand themselves, because everyone is their own brand. And I always teach and develop the skills of, everyone needs to be their own chief marketing officer. No one's going to put out or protect their own brand any better than they can themselves. So I'm curious to get your ideas or any quick take you're willing to share without giving it all away, because that's your lecture. As it relates to, how can students in today's climate best brand themselves to a potential job or a market?
So I think just building up an online presence, and I've delivered this message to University of Charleston a while back, to Cal Baptist University, and to my university, Concordia University. Just building up an online presence, create a website, put a blog out there, do anything you can do to build up a personal brand. And whether that's, sport, whether that's marketing, whatever, just become an expert on your field. And even if you're not an expert, just start posting articles. When I first started, building up my LinkedIn, I posted a lot about hockey because that's what I'm interested in. And so I think that kind of anything you can do, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whichever, just be consistent and be willing to put yourself out there.
Yeah, again, completely agree. I even make a comment to, if they're using LinkedIn to, if you have your own content, great. Like you just mentioned, that's beautiful. Put your own content out there. But if you see another conversation that's going on LinkedIn, make a comment, make some comments, get involved, get engaged. It's another way to get on someone's radar in a very easy way. So
Yeah.
you mentioned something earlier, and I wanted to come back to it before I forget. And you mentioned, hey, look, being persistent is key, but there's also a line between being persistent and also crossing over that line and maybe just being an annoyance to someone. What's your personal take on that? Where do you draw the line as it relates to someone trying to reach and get on your radar?
Sure. I think being persistent, but not pushy. So, just crafting a message that's not too pushy. Like, for instance, hey, here's my resume. Can you give it to the hiring manager? Hey, did you get my resume? Hey, but rather, hey, I don't know you personally, but just wanted to reach out and pick your brain. I don't know if you have some time, like 5 to 10 minutes. Would love to connect. Hey, did you get my message? If not, totally okay. Just don't be so in your face about it.
Can I just say agree? This isn't like an argument or a debate.
I know.
This is, I always like to get people's input on that because it's, like I said earlier, the landscape for the job market is just so competitive right now, more than ever. And digitally is probably one of the only ways people can try to get in touch with someone. Mm-hmm. There is the phone. I don't know if you pick up your phone, but phones are another way. It's just a series, maybe a sequence. And I kind of work with, when I do my one-on-one coaching with college students, I come up with a sequence that fits and that's comfortable with them, but don't just rely on emailing someone because that may not work. And how many times do you email before you try to move to another sequence or another concept? So all of that is very good input.
And sometimes you have to just wait and be patient. Sometimes it is, a week or two before, we'll get back to you. But if your message is persistent and, worthwhile, then we will get back to you.
Patience. I mean, right. We've all heard that cliche, the whole patience is a virtue. Mm-hmm. It's a rhetorical question. Are we really patient as a society today? I say no. Attention spans are minimal. Patience is minimal. But
it's
yet,
a practice.
What's that?
It's a practice.
It is a practice and it's a habit. It's an absolute practice and a habit, and it needs to be developed just like any other muscle. But practice, being patient is absolutely vital. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Is there anything back in when you first started early on in your career where someone put their arm around your proverbial shoulder and just said, hey, Jordyn, you know what? Here's some advice I want to share with you. And it's just kind of stuck. It's always resonated. It's stood the test of time. Just career-related advice that you'd be willing to share with the next generation?
Once you do make your big break, pay it forward, do the interviews like I'm doing today. I remember someone at the Angels I had lunch with and really just stuck with me. He said, I don't normally take these lunches, but when I do, I tell people to pay it forward. And that's always stuck with me, and just be very grateful and remember that it wasn't just you that got the job. It's a bunch of people that helped you, and don't ever forget the other people that you have talked with.
I love that. And it just spurred me on to, I thought that was my last question. I lied. Now it's my last question because it's a great point. I wanted to pick up on it and get your personal stripe on it and it was just that is anyone that's starting out, and I always say no one starts out in any field as an expert. It just doesn't happen. People get there over time. Right. But someone that's maybe just starting out, the college student that's looking to get their foot in the door, they're not starting out from that point of experience. So they don't have that, position of strength. I've always recommended, I'd love to know if you agree or disagree, or you want to add something to the comment. When I tell them, I said, look, just reach out to them, let them know, be transparent about, look, I'm just starting. I'm on the very front end. I would like to learn about your experience and your trajectory, how you've gotten there. Maybe I can extract something that I can leverage and put to use. Just letting people know you're the beginner. It's okay to do that. I don't know if you feel that is a good strategy, or maybe you've got something you want to add to that as we kind of wrap up.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. I've met with people from corporate partnerships to premium sales to event operations. Anything you can take from other people and use towards your future is going to be helpful. So definitely just keep an open mind and don't think just because they have a title or background that you're not interested in, that you can't take something from that person and use it towards your
Absolutely.
future.
Well, Jordyn Gosney with the Sacramento Kings, group sales manager with the Sacramento Kings. Is there anything, I always ask everyone that comes on, there's a shot to promote anything you would like, whether it's the Kings website, whether it's an initiative that the Kings have going on, it could be a personal blog of yours, or maybe say, Matt, I don't want to promote anything, but I want to give you the chance.
Matt, I don't want to promote anything, but no, I'm kidding.
Goodbye, we're done. No, if
Yeah,
there isn't anything, it's okay. Like I said, it's okay to say no.
Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to connect with anyone. And if I can ever be of assistance, I'm happy to help.
Great. And as we wrap up, I'll do my own commercial. Just why not? It's my interview series. The website is on the screen now for anyone that wants to learn more about the group workshops, the one-on-one coaching that I deliver to high school and college students. I'm happy to explore and share conversations with anyone. You can also reach out to me at the website that's there. So, Jordyn, appreciate you taking the time and sharing some great insight. We look forward to staying in touch.
Thank you, Matt. Have a good day.